Hello and welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today we're going to learn to avoid some important mistakes, so let's get started. So what are we going to do? We're going to learn to improve our pronunciation and speak like an American. Okay, let's do it. First, this is not correct.
In English, pronunciation is kind of like, it's your first impression, right? No matter how good your English is, that's the first thing people notice before they notice your vocabulary choice or your grammar.
And they ask, oh, where are you from?
Right, and that's the most annoying question. Yeah.
And I've been practicing my pronunciation for 10 years and...
Where are you from? From? We cannot pronounce the word from. It's from. Where are you from? Let's hear that again.
That's the first thing people notice before they notice your vocabulary choice or your grammar.
And they ask, oh, where are you from?
Right, and that's the most annoying question. Yeah.
And I've been practicing my pronunciation for 10 years and you're still asking me this question.
I've been practicing my English for 10 years. Practicing? She means practicing. We cannot pronounce the word practicing. It's practicing. She's been practicing her English for 10 years. Let's practice. Has she been practicing her English for 10 years? That's right, she's been practicing her English for 10 years. This is also not correct.
Comfortable. Comfortable. The R is kind of there, but it's very weak and very small.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Comfortable.
No, you're still saying you're adding that extra syllable, comfortable, which is fine again. But people just say comfortable.
Comfortable. Okay.
Comfortable.
More convenient.
Comfortable? The word is not pronounced comfortable. The R is kind of there. It's small and weak. There's no R after the F sound. It's not I don't know. There's no R there. The R is after. It's pronounced comfortable. Comfortable. Not comfortable, not but The R is after the T, not before the T. I know it's not written that way, but that's how we pronounce it. It's one of the pronunciations. You can say comfortable, or you can say comfortable, but not comfortable. Again, use the sound like in burger, bull. Comfortable. The stress is on the first syllable. Comfortable. Example, the chair is very comfortable. It looks very comfortable anyway. Let's practice. Is the chair comfortable? That's right, the chair is comfortable. Does it look comfortable? That's right, it looks comfortable. This is also not correct.
Those are the worst ones, the ones that are kind of similar, but not really, right? And there are so many examples of that.
There are so many examples of that. We cannot say there are so many examples of that. We have to say there are so many examples of that. We need that Z sound because it's more than one example. Examples. Together, there are so many examples of that. Examples of that. Together, examples of that. So, there are many adjectives that end with OUS, and they're all pronounced with the US sound. Nervous, famous, dangerous. And there are so many examples of that. So talking about this OUS ending with adjectives, are there so many examples of that? That's right, there are so many examples of that. Let's watch another clip.
But then, yeah, rolling, everything's rolling, literally.
Right, rolling. That's what you mean.
Rolling.
That's right, it's rolling, not rawling. The word is not pronounced rawling, it's pronounced rolling. Use the long O sound like pole and toll. Roll, rolling. Example, the ball is rolling. Not rolling, but rolling. Let's practice. Is the ball rolling? That's right, the ball is rolling. This is also not correct.
So the first part of this word is lita, right? Lita. And then you go into li.
Literally.
Literally. And then you just add li. Literally. Literally.
The word is not pronounced literally. Literally, it's pronounced literally. Not litta, but litter. Use the sound like in burger. litter, litter. So after the fast D, use an sound. Litter, literally, literally. Example, people say he's crazy, but I say he's literally crazy. He went to a psychiatrist and he was diagnosed as insane. So I can say he is literally insane. He's literally crazy. Let's practice. Is he literally insane? That's right. He's literally insane. Remember the pronunciation. Literally. Not literally, but literally. This is also not correct.
So I actually have an online course that I just recently updated. It's called Pronunciation Hacking. And this course kind of has two main parts. So we study all the sounds like that separately, step by step. It's not about talents or gifts. It's about literally completing, steps or making steps. And
I cannot say completing or making steps. We use the verb complete. You can complete steps, but you do not make steps. You take steps. So it's correct to say completing or taking steps, not making steps. We do not make steps. We take steps or complete steps. Example, he's taking steps in order to reach his goal. He's not making steps, he's taking steps. Let's practice. Is he taking steps in order to reach his goal? That's right, he's taking steps in order to reach his goal. This is also not correct.
But yeah, the course is available now. Like I said, it was recently updated and it's so much fun. I'm really proud of it. And if you are interested in working on your pronunciation, please join us.
I cannot say if you are interested in work on your pronunciation. After in, I need to use a gerund. I have to say if you are interested in working on your pronunciation. I cannot say if you are interested in work on your pronunciation. I need the gerund working after in. Example, she's interested in working on her pronunciation. Let's practice. Is she interested in working on her pronunciation? That's right, she's interested in working on her pronunciation. This is also not correct.
Know that we can do, and we're not going to say can do it, we're going to say can do it, right? Which called a stop consonant.
We're going to say do it, which called a stop consonant. I cannot say which called a stop consonant. I need a verb. I need the verb to be, which is called a stop consonant. So we're going to say do it, which is called a stop consonant. We need the verb is. We need the verb is after which is called. So here, when I say do it, we're using a stop T, which is a stop consonant. This is also not correct.
Your goal is to connect everything together as much as possible. So I'm going to read the first part right now. I'm going to do it slowly so you can feel the connections.
Feel the connections? We cannot use the verb feel here. You're not going to feel the connections. You're going to hear the connections because you're listening to something. We don't use feel here. We say hear. You're going to hear the connections. This is also not correct.
You can save this sentence, obviously, and use it as a practice because I think it's a great sentence.
I cannot say use it as a practice. Practice is not countable, so we cannot use a practice. It's correct to say use it as practice, but not a practice. So how do you count practice? You can say a practice drill, that's countable, so I can say use it as a practice drill, but not use it as a practice. The word practice is not countable, so no article. Example, he likes to read books. He's learning English and he likes to read books. He does it for practice, not for a practice, just for practice. He does it for practice. Let's practice. He likes to read books. Does he do it for practice? That's right, he does it for practice. This is also not correct.
And I really like that American accent can actually be deconstructed, just the way Vanya just did.
I cannot say I really like that American accent can be deconstructed. When I say American accent, I need an article. The American accent. So it's correct to say I really like that the American accent can be deconstructed. So what's the difference between the American accent and an American accent? Well, if I'm talking about it in general, I say the American accent. The American accent is different from the British accent. Here we use the. And if I say he speaks, I say he speaks with an American accent. Not the American accent, but one in general, an. He speaks with an American accent. Let's practice. Is the American accent different from the British accent? That's right, the American accent is different from the British accent. Does he speak with an American accent or a British accent? That's right, he speaks with an American accent. Remember, with the word accent, we need articles. This is also not correct.
It's possible you can do it. If I could do it, you can do it too. And I have no talent for languages or nothing at all.
I have no talent for languages or nothing at all? I cannot say this. This is a double negative. Because I have no in the sentence, I cannot use nothing. That's the double negative. So to say it correctly, you can say, I have no talent for languages or anything at all. I have to change nothing to anything to avoid the double negative. So I can say, he has no talent for languages or anything at all. Let's practice. Does he have any talent for languages or anything at all? That's right, he has no talent for languages or anything at all. This is also not correct.
This is how pronunciation work is. First, you think about it literally all the time.
Farced? The word is not pronounced farced. It's pronounced first. What's the difference? If I say farced, I'm using the R sound like car and bar. I need to use a different sound. I need to use the sound. Like in burger, it's more closed. It's the pure R sound. First. First. This is correct. First. This is the correct pronunciation. Example, in the morning, the first thing he does is brush his teeth. Let's practice. In the morning, what's the first thing he does? That's right. In the morning, the first thing he does is brush his teeth. Thank you for watching, and keep watching for more. First, this is not correct.
So you will not have too much time answering the question.
I cannot say you will not have too much time answering the question. After have too much time, we cannot use a gerund answering. We have to use the infinitive to answer. So it's correct to say you will not have too much time to answer the question. This is correct. I cannot use answering in this case. Example, I can say he won't have too much time to answer the questions. But it's better to say he won't have a lot of time. He won't have a lot of time to answer the questions. Not answering, but to answer. Pronunciation, use the t sound. Not to, but t. The word is not stressed. We pronounce it in a relaxed way. Closed sound, t. He will not have a lot of time to answer the questions because it's a time test. Let's practice. Will he have a lot of time to answer the questions? That's right. He will not have a lot of time to answer the questions. Let's practice with won't. Remember, won't is the contraction of will not. Use the long O sound like no and go. Won't. I can say he won't have a lot of time to answer the questions. Let's practice with won't. Will he have a lot of time to answer the questions? That's right. He won't have a lot of time to answer the questions. It's a time test. This is also not correct.
I know it's an advice that's hard to follow, but
I cannot say it's an advice that's hard to follow. Why not? Because advice is not countable. I cannot use the article an advice. I cannot say an advice. I cannot say a good advice. I cannot say advices. The word advice is not countable. Keep watching until the end to practice with this difficult word. This is also not correct.
you just let your imagination flow. Even if you say things you don't really believe in, that's fine.
I cannot say you say things you don't really believe in. I cannot use the preposition in. Just believe. When you talk about things that people say, things that you say, or things that other people say, we say you believe, not believe in. I believe the things you say. It's not correct to say I believe in the things you say. No, I believe the things you say. I think they're true. Let's practice. Do you believe the things I say? Thank you. So when do we say believe in? We can use believe in when we talk about religions. Example, he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't think God exists. That's when we can say believe in. Let's practice. Is he an atheist? That's right, he's an atheist. Does he believe in God? That's right, he doesn't believe in God. Or what about Bigfoot? I don't think he exists. So I can say I don't believe in Bigfoot. Bigfoot is this creature that lives in the forest, supposedly. but I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't think he exists. What about you? Do you believe in Bigfoot? That's right. I don't believe in Bigfoot either. This is also not correct.
And take notes for question 2, 3, and 4.
I cannot say take notes for question 2, 3, 4. It's more than one question. I have to put an S. Questions. Take notes for questions 2, 3, and 4. Example. He's taking notes. He's taking notes for questions 2, 3, and 4. Let's practice. What is he doing? Is he taking notes for questions 2, 3, and 4? That's right. He's taking notes for questions 2, 3, and 4. This is also not correct.
And the last but not least, your writing part.
I cannot say and the last but not least. This is an expression. We do not use the article the. I cannot say and the last but not least. The expression is and last but not least. No article the. We have to say it this way. And what does it mean? It means I'm about to say something that is equally important to the things I said before. Example. And last but not least, and I introduce someone who's equally as important as the people that came before him. Remember the expression, and last but not least, no article the. This is also not correct.
If you don't have time, don't waste your time writing conclusion in both texts.
I cannot say, don't waste time writing conclusion. Why not? Because conclusion is a countable noun. I need an article. I can say, don't waste time writing a conclusion, or for a specific situation, don't waste time writing the conclusion. Remember, with conclusion, we need an article. A conclusion, one in general, or the conclusion, a specific conclusion. Example, he's taking a timed test, and he's running out of time. Should he waste time writing a conclusion? That's right, he shouldn't waste time writing a conclusion. Or I can say the for a specific conclusion. Should he waste time writing the conclusion? That's right, he shouldn't waste time writing the conclusion. It's a timed test. He doesn't have time. This is also not correct.
But don't do this the day before the test. I want you to have your energy on the actual test.
I cannot say I want you to have your energy on the actual test. We don't use on in this case. We use for. You have energy for things. Not on things, but for things. I want you to have your energy for the actual test. We have to use for in this case. Example, she's taking a test, and she needs to have energy for her test. Not on her test, but for her test. Let's practice. She's taking a test. Does she need to have energy for the test? That's right, she needs to have energy for the test. This is also not correct.
And on the test day, get a good night's sleep, eat a healthy breakfast, arrive at the test early.
I cannot say arrive at the test early. You can arrive at the testing site, a place, but not at the test. If you talk about test, we need for the test. If you use the word test, we have to use for the test. Arrive for the test early, or arrive at the testing site early. These are correct. Example, he arrived at the testing site early. He arrived for the test early. Good job. Let's practice. Did he arrive at the testing site early? That's right, he arrived at the testing site early. Did he arrive for the test early? That's right, he arrived for the test early. This is also not correct.
And of course, you're going to come back to this channel and comment your score.
I cannot say you're going to come back to this channel and comment your score. We cannot use the verb comment in this way. We have to say you're going to leave your score in the comments or put your score in the comments. But I cannot say you're going to comment your score. We cannot use the verb comment in this way. This is also not correct.
The second tip, understand what are the keywords for this text and kind of remember which paragraph they're mentioned in.
I cannot say I have to use a positive structure. So it's correct to say, understand what the key words are for this text. We have to use a positive structure in this case. So again, we cannot say understand what are the key words. We have to say understand what the key words are for this text. Example, I understand what the key words are for this text. Let's practice. Do you understand what the key words are for this text? That's right. I understand what the key words are for this text. Very good. This is also not correct.
It's related to campus lives.
I cannot say it's related to campus lives. We say it's related to campus life. We use a singular noun, life. We don't say lives in this case. It's related to campus life in general. Example, there's students on campus, and they enjoy campus life. They enjoy everything related to campus life. Not campus lives, but campus life. The idea, their life living on a campus. Let's practice. Do they enjoy campus life? That's right, they enjoy campus life. Do they enjoy everything related to campus life? That's right, they enjoy everything related to campus life. And don't say this either.
This part is the part I don't like the most.
This is the one I don't like the most? This is not correct. We cannot use don't with the most. We can't use a negative here. We have to use a different verb. You can say, I dislike this one the most, or I hate this one the most, or I like this one the least. These are all correct. But don't say, I don't like this one the most. Example, he doesn't like vegetables, but he dislikes broccoli the most. I can say this, or I can say, he hates broccoli the most. But I cannot say he doesn't like broccoli the most. So he dislikes broccoli the most, or he hates broccoli the most, or he likes broccoli the least. Maybe. Let's practice. Does he dislike broccoli the most? That's right, he dislikes broccoli the most. Does he hate broccoli the most? That's right, he hates broccoli the most. The idea, he doesn't like any of the vegetables, but he hates broccoli the most. That's the number one vegetable he hates. This is also not correct.
In this text, the professor covers the topic of.
Pronunciation. I cannot say the topic of. The word is pronounced of. We need a closed, relaxed sound of. The topic of. Example. This is the Statue of Liberty. Not the Statue of Liberty. Not the open sound of, but of, the closed sound. This is the Statue of Liberty. Let's practice. What is this? Is this the Statue of Liberty? That's right, this is the Statue of Liberty. So keep watching to practice how to use this difficult word correctly. One of our members asked us to explain the difference between these two words. The first word, advise. The second word, advice. So pronunciation. The first word with the S has the Z sound like zebra. Advise, advise. And this is a verb. You advise somebody to do something. And the second word is advice. The C makes the S sound like in star and sun. Advice. And advice is a noun. It is a non-countable noun. More on that later. Let's talk about the verb advise and how we use it. First, it's a formal word. I don't use it in my daily conversation. It's a more formal word. So example, they advised him to be careful. We use him plus to and a simple verb. They advised him to be careful. And the member wanted to know, can I say they advised that he be careful? Yes, you can say that too. But the first example is more common and preferred in most cases. But you'll hear both. They're both correct. So let's practice. Did they advise him to be careful? That's right, they advised him to be careful. Now let's talk about advice. Advice is a noun. It's a non-countable noun. So I cannot say an advice. I say some advice. Let me give you some advice. His father gave him some advice. Remember, the C makes the S sound here. advice. His father gave him some good advice. Let's practice. Did his father give him some good advice? That's right, his father gave him some good advice. And keep watching to practice more with this tricky word, advice. This is not correct. We cannot say an advice. The word advice is not a countable noun, so we cannot say an advice. We just say advice.
I can give advice, but I'm afraid it's going to be blunt.
I teach literature. I don't give advice.
So we don't tend to give advice on how to get your boyfriend to commit.
I don't do things, I give advice.
Because the word advice is not countable, the most common way to use it is with some advice. Let me give you some advice. Let me give you some good advice. You cannot say a good advice because it's not countable. Use some advice or some good advice.
Can I give you some advice?
I'd appreciate that.
Can I give you some advice?
Can I offer you some advice, sister to sister?
Well, that's some good advice.
Some advice about keeping secrets.
Over this domain you rule. But let me give you some good advice.
Example, he's giving his son some advice. He's giving his son some good advice. Let's practice. What is he doing? Is he giving his son some good advice? That's right, he's giving his son some good advice. So it's not correct to say an advice or a good advice. Does that mean we can never count the word advice? No, we can count it. If you really want to count the word, you say a piece of advice.
Let me give you a piece of advice.
Let me give you a piece of advice here.
Let me give you a piece of advice.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
Let me give you all a piece of advice.
Top 5 worst pieces of advice from people who don't know what they're talking about.
India.
Okay, well, those are all good pieces of advice. I really appreciate it.
Before I went off to college at Yale, he gave me 3 pieces of advice.
Example, his father gave him one very good piece of advice. One very important piece of advice. Let's practice. Did his father give him one very good piece of advice? That's right, his father gave him one very good piece of advice. So remember, the word advice is not countable. We cannot say an advice or a good advice. The most common way to use the word is with some advice. And if you really want to count it, you can count it by saying a piece of advice. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to become a member, click the join button. And we'll see you next time.